Okay, it is time for the best death metal albums of 2021. This is gonna be a very hard list because we saw some really great death metal albums this year. So you clicked on the thumbnail and you know what to expect. I'm gonna give you my favorite top 40 death metal albums of 2021. Last video we did the best black metal albums of the year. We did 40 albums. This time it's gonna be 40 death metal albums. And yes, behold, there have been some amazing death metal albums this year, and I will go through most of these albums. I'll be going pretty quickly from 40 to 10, and then we'll dive into more detail within our top 10. But let's get on with it. Before I start our death metal journey, pop your favorite death metal albums below. Give me your top 40 if you have the balls to do so. And let's get on with it. So coming at number 40 is Phlebotomize, Pain Resistant Suffering. This is a little bit of cheating. This is an EP, but overall it's a very good EP. It's a bit of avant-garde death metal as well, a few dissonant melodies, but the vocals are incredibly harsh and aggressive, and I love the brutality on this. Next up is Temple of Dread, Hades Unleashed. This is a very good album. Really do enjoy the gritty riffs on this. Love the production overall, really harsh and aggressive vocals, and there is great songwriting on this. Imperium's a great song, Nefarious Eye, the vocals on that Procession to the Tartarus, just a really enjoyable album. Love the fucking artwork as well. Just a really great old school death metal album. Next up is another old school death metal album, Hellslave, and the album From the Sulphur Depths. Just really great guitar work, some phenomenal drumming on this, and my favorite song would probably be Last Nail in the Coffin, which has a really catchy melodic hook to it, and it is just a brilliant listen. Next up is our first brutal death metal album. It's Sanguizugabog, Tortured Whole. Very catchy riffs on this. The melodies do get stuck in your head. The vocals are very brutal and guttural at times. And yeah, this is a pretty divisive album by a lot of people. I know the Metal Meltdown fucking hated this album, but behold, I really do enjoy it. The Metal Meltdown and I don't have really similar tastes, and we do definitely disagree with this album, whether we like it or not. But Sanguizugabog, Tortured Whole is solid. It's funny as well. There are some great the lyrics are really preposterous and quite at times very gruesome, but fuck, it works. Felching Filth, Dick Fillet, Gored in the Chest, Menstrual Envy, the riff on that, just very solid release. Next up is an Australian death metal band, Stargazer, Psychic Secretions. This is fantastic. This at times reminds me of Ulcerate. Even Death Omega, some really great proggy moments. I love the dissonant melodies, and there are some symphonic elements that build throughout this album. Great guitar work, great drumming, great progressive metal, but with a twist. There's a lot of twists and turns. There are some doomy elements. We could break doom, death, and black on this album. Just a fantastic fucking album overall. Next up is some more old school death metal, Revulsion, and the self-titled album. What can I say? This is a very catchy melodic death metal album. Very dirgy and grindy at times. Love the guitar work, love the drumming. Great songs like Wastelands, Silence, and track 10 is fantastic as well. A great way to end off the album. Enjoyable solos, enjoyable guitar work, and the gutturals on this are very good. It reminds me at times like Could Have Menace or even Incantation with the vocals. Next up is Abiotic Ikigai. This is a very enjoyable album. I love this album. I think it's fantastic. There are some there's Japanese war themed on this, the great acoustic guitar work, some interesting breakdowns as well. This is a technical death metal album, incorporate elements of deathcore. Great songs like Ikigai, Smoldered, If I Do or Die, Grief Eater, Tear Drinker, just very melodic sort of song. Great hooks, great guitar solos, beautiful build up. This album flows like fucking water. Next up is Illustrium, A Monument to Silence. Really do enjoy Illustrium. Tunnel to Eden was absolutely fantastic, insurmountable, amazing. album as well, although I feel like this is one of the weakest albums by Illustrious, and it's still fucking solid and deserves to be in the top 40. This is great melodic prog death, you could say. Great songs like This Hollow Ache, Join the Dead, Deliverance for the Dead, and A Monument to Silence, the self-titled track. Great guitar work, great drumming. I just love the compositions. Just love how each instrument just works so well together. Next up is some dirgy death metal, Ominous Seep of Putridity, and the band Morbific. Morbific is a fantastic fucking band. Reminds me of, at times, it's got a really dirgy atmosphere, this album. Feels like you're just locked into a cave and just can't get out. Some fantastic songs overall. Love the riffs. The riffs are chunky like a chunky ass. The riffs are so good. The drumming's fantastic, and the vocals are just pure bliss for death metal. Some doomier moments on this, but very high octane death metal as well. There are slow moments, there are fast moments. Next up is Blood Red Hourglass, Your Highness. Overall, really love Blood Red Hourglass. I think Godsend was a fantastic album, one of my favorite albums of 2019, and this is no different. They do experiment throughout this album with some cleaner vocals, but I do really love the really aggressive vocals as well. Some great solos, some great songwriting. At times there are proggy elements. Kings and Queens, My Prime of Neil, just fantastic songs. Until We Meet Again, a great long song to end off the album. What more can you want? This is a very different sort of album by Blood Red Hourglass, but it fucking works. Great mix of melodic death metal. Next up is Nervous Decay and their album Nervous Decay, self-titled. This is a very good album. I actually love it. This is old school death metal. The riffs are there, the vocals are there, and I just really enjoyed the little inserts. There are some comedic moments as well. I checked this album later in April and I thought it was just a very solid album overall. Nothing more I can say. Like Nervous Decay, Shield of Delusion, just really great songs, really great solos, and just love the chunky riffs on this. Next up is Fractal Generator, Macrocosmos. What can I say about this album? This is like a spacey morbid angel, it really is. It's got some great synths, got some great vocals, got some great guitar work, and I love the tremolo picking on this. There are some insane blast beats, there are some proggy moments as well. It's like spacey fucking morbid angel with a hint of Cannibal Corpse. Vocals are so damn guttural and intense at times. There are some doomy moments. There are some just high octane death metal moments as well. And the vocals are so damn good. But yeah, Fractal Generator, Macrocosmos. You know this album's fucking good when this album was released in January. I play this album a lot, and I think it deserves to be in the top 40. Next up is Crypts of Despair, All Lights Swallowed. A great fucking album overall. This is our second brutal death metal album. I feel like it's better than Sengoku Zugabon just because of the overall songwriting, composition, and the guitar work. The guitar work's absolutely fucking fantastic. Production is on another level on this. The vocals are very demonic and in your fucking face, and great juicy length of 38 minutes, and great songs like Excruciating Weight, Bleak View, and Fuck Me Choke by the Void. The fucking vocals on that are just so damn intense, but yeah, have a really awesome hook. Yeah, this album's pretty, dare I say, catchy. There are some dissonant melodies, there are some technical moments as well, but yeah, Crypts of Despair, All Lights Swallowed is fucking solid. Next up is Pestilence Exidium. Overall, this is a very good album. It's sort of death thrash, you could say. The vocals are very good, the guitar work is magnificent, but Pestilence is still cunt after having go at my buddy Quest for Metal. So fuck you, Pestilence. You made a great fucking album, but fuck you, Pestilence. Stick a breadstick up your ass, and moving on. Next up is Memoriam to the End. This is overall very good melodic death metal album. I'm gonna say it's melodic because fucking melodic. The riffs are there. It's so damn catchy. Great song like This War Is Won, No Effect, fucking Vacant Stare, As My Heart Grows Cold. Just great moments. There are some doomy moments as well. The riffs are there, the drumming is there, and the vocals are there. The vocals are very guttural at times, but of course he incorporates some really high shrieks that I fucking love. So yeah, Memoriam to the End sits here. Next up is Sunless, Yum. And overall, this album took me by surprise big time. I fucking love this album. I love how technical, progressive it is. There are some dissonant catchment melodies that really get stuck in your head, and not to mention some very dizzying guitar work. This at times reminds me of Ulcerate, even at Nauseam, Imperial Triumphant, all those dissonant bands, and even Deathspell Omega. Elements of black metal, elements of death metal, and elements of extreme metal overall. Yeah, Sunless is a must listen if you haven't heard this album in 2021. Next up is Inferi Vile Genesis. Great technical, progressive metal album. Just reminding me at times like something out of Agony from Flesh God Apocalypse. Just great moments, great synthesizers that really lift the album next level. Great compositions, and it's fun, it's enjoyable. The vocals are just guttural, and just I love the high shrieks as well that you get on some of these songs. Maelstrom Prison, fucking From Exile to Exaltation. I think you got Carving Kingdom and Heirs of the Descent. What a fucking fantastic album overall. And not to mention, one of the best fucking album covers of the year. Next up is At the Gates, The Nightmare of Being. This is a really good album. It's one of my favorite At the Gates albums. I think it's fantastic. The Paradox, The Nightmare of Being, Touched by the White Hands of Death. A very different album by At the Gates. I love how they experiment. They add a bit of saxophone on this. You got some really enjoyable guitar solos. There are some progressive metal elements as well, technical moments, and just a really fun time. I feel it's one of the best death metal albums, but the reason why it's so damn low is because at times this album lacks the repetitive factor. Like at times I don't really want to go back to this, but I still appreciate the work that these guys have done, and I just think it's a very solid LP nonetheless. But I feel that there are better death metal albums than At the Gates, The Nightmare of Being. If I put this on, I fucking love it, I fucking enjoy it, so it's on the fucking list. Next up is Frozen Soul, Crypt of Ice. A great band overall. This is a very cold, atmospheric death metal album. This was released earlier this year, like fucking in January or sometime like that. Very catchy songs like Crypt of Ice, the self-titled track, which infectious melody. Da, 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 da. Oh, I love the melody on that. Beat to Dust, Twist the Knife, Faceless Enemy, Gravedigger, Hand of Vengeance. The fucking intro on that is amazing. I just love the cold wispy of the wind just blowing in your ears on this. It's cold, it's atmospheric, it's dark. Some people would compare this to like Memoriam or even Bolt Thrower. But yeah, I do agree. This is some great riffs. There are some really chunky, great cold riffs on this. Next up is one of the dirtiest fucking death metal albums of the year. It's Cerebral Rot, Excretion of Metallic. What can I say? This is just dirty death metal. Really awful, just spewing sewer death metal. The guitar, the bass, the prominent bass on this is amazing. The drums are fantastic. Phenomenal drumming on this, don't get me wrong. Great blast beats, great drum fills. Just a very enjoyable album. Love the guitar work. All that chunky bass is amazing. Production's fantastic. And the vocals are just dirty and grimy and fucking disgusting. Okay, so moving into our top 20, next up is In Mourning the Bleeding Veil. This is a fantastic melodic death metal album. It's progressive as well with some beautiful guitar solos. The vocals are fucking harsh and aggressive, guttural at times. I love his growls. The growls are just soaring high, reminding me of bands like Insomnium, fucking even Dark Tranquility, and even a bit of In Flames. The melodies are just so damn good on this. Solos are for days. The fucking beautiful soft moments you are getting. It's just pure authentic melodic death metal. Some doomier moments as well. There are gothic elements. It's just one fucking fantastic album. Sovereign at the Behest of Night is such a good song overall. You get some really hard-hitting songs like A Light on the Mire, Beyond Thunder. Definitely would recommend you to check out this fucking album if you haven't already. Next up is a blackened death metal band. We're also talking about some blackened death metal, and one album that surprised me, blackened death metal, was Niflhel and the album I. A lot of people call this black metal, but I call this black and death. Now, I do love the overall progression on this and some great songwriting, very great catchiness as well. Enjoyable blast beats, just Love the vocals, very harsh and aggressive. Love his high shrieks, love his guttural growls, which create that death metal aesthetic. Really interesting guitar riffs, and just a very overall great album by Niflhel, and the debut album I. Next up is Insomnium Argent Moon, great melodic death metal. I love this EP, I think it's fantastic. Beautiful acoustic passages, and not to mention the antagonist and the wanderer. I just love the beautiful clean vocals mixed along with the harsh aggressive vocals. Melodicism is on point on this, and it's one of the best. Next up is Coherence, great progressive death metal. Locust, Foothold. I love the instrumental Sweep of Days, how everything is tied up with the song Much More Was Lost, where you get slow doomier moments, just great interconnection between the drums and guitar on this. Just I love the odd time signatures. I think this is a fantastic progressive death metal album. Next up is Seputus Indigo. Overall, what can I say? A pretty solid release. I think this is one of the best dissonant death metal albums of the year. Really hate that album cover though. I think it's one of the gayest album covers of 2021, but overall just a pretty solid release. Some very intense blackened moments on this, but it's more focuses on that technical death metal. There are some avant-garde moments, there are the dissonant melodies, at times remind me of like Ad Nauseam, and there's just over-the-top moments that are very enjoyable. Songs like The Learned Response, Tautology. Hello, Tautology is one of my favorite songs off this album, one of my favorite death metal songs of the year. Next up is some technical, just extreme technical death metal. It's Archspire, Bleed the Future. Just a fun fucking album. The vocals on this are just, the vocals he just incorporates just really fast gutturals on this. The guitar work is amazing. I don't know how this band can cooperate with such fast technical moments. The drumming is just out of this world. You think it's programmed, but it's not. It's actually a real drummer. The guitar work, it's so technical, this album. A Drain of Incarnation, Reverie on the Onyx, oh my god, and AUM is such a fun song. Golden Mouth of Ruin, just so damn technical. Next up is Aborted, Maniacult, another brutal death metal album. Just great technical moments as well. Love the guitar work, they really do experiment, incorporate more blackened moments on this, and even some acoustic moments as well, with songs like Drag Me to Hell. Demenophobia is one of the most funnest death metal songs of the year. Impetus Ode, Portal to Vacuity, much more doomier side of Aborted. They really do experiment on this album. Next up is Obscura, a Valediction. What can I say? This is just a very enjoyable album by Obscura. Again, it's pretty technical. It's straight death metal as well. Great drumming, great guitar work, just dissonant melodies. Also some melodic flares. You got songs like The Veiled Usurper, which is one of the fucking catchiest death metal songs of the year. Great fucking album by Obscura, and I love the album cover as well. But yeah, a Valediction by Obscura. Next up is Carcass, Torn Arteries. A lot of people would have this a little bit higher, but in my opinion, I feel there are other better death metal albums out there. But it's just the melodic moments you get. There are some great progressive death metal moments, like Flesh Ripping Sonic Torment Limited. Fuck me, what a great song. Nearly 10 minutes. The guitar solos on this, the vocals are so damn good. Yeah, I could have had this a little bit higher. The album cover's fucking awful. I hate the album cover, but the actual content inside, it's catchy, the riffs are there, and it's one of their best. Next up is a very fucking fun death metal album, Grand Cadaver, Into the Maw of Death. It just harnesses that old school death metal sound. It's got some great riffs, it's got some great drumming as well. The production is on point on this. You get some really deep guttural vocals and great songs like Soul Infestation, World Mausoleum, Rain Through Fire, Into the Maw of Death, be one of my favorite songs off the album. There are some doomier moments, there are some even a tinge of black metal on this, and it's just really fun. At times this does remind me of bands such as Impermanence, and even a bit of like Morbid Angel. It's got that same sort of songwriting that I really do enjoy. And Grand Cadaver, Into the Maw of Death is just a solid fucking release. Okay, so now we're hitting our top 10. Next up is Stortregn, Impermanence. What can I say? This album blew me away big time. This is a fantastic fucking album from start to finish. Again, pretty technical, pretty progressive, but it just really reigns in what it is focusing on. There are some cosmic moments on this, atmospheric moments. The vocals are just harsh and aggressive and in your face. No clean vocals, but just a really interesting synth that builds throughout this album. Cosmos Eater, Impermanence, multi-layered chaos, Timeless Splendor, one of my favorite songs. Ghosts of the Past is so damn good, it really is. It's got a really classic 80s riff on it that I absolutely fucking love. That you hear from something out of like Iron Maiden or something. It's just brilliant, this album, Stortregn Impermanence, and this is why it's in my top 10. Alright, so next up is a black and death metal album. It is 1914, Where Fear and Weapons Meet. This is fantastic. The Blind Leading the Blind is my favorite, is one of my favorite black metal albums of all time. Where Fear and Weapons Meet incorporates more of those death metal moments. This is why it's in the best death metal albums of the year, because I feel like it's more death metal than black metal. There are some great riffs on this. There are some overly symphonic moments that build throughout this album. And across now, Marxie's place, those fucking vocals on this and the fucking riffs. You got track 2, which is amazing. Pillars of the Fire, one of my favorite songs off the album. And track 8, Corpse of Diodos Cannons. Wow, what a fantastic fucking song, especially the intro with the horns and trumpet, and it builds up to just intense death metal, black metal, death metal, even doom metal. They do play around a bit of doom, but not as doomier as you get through The Blind Leading the Blind. But fuck me, what a fantastic fucking album. Next up is Noctambulist, the Barren Form. This is very dark, evil death metal. Remind me of bands like Suffering Hour. This is on the borderline of there's just so much atmosphere that seeps, some absolutely amazing guitar, some really interesting passages, passages that lead to some acoustic passages as well, some great hooks, great riffs, and the riffs are there, amazing songs, deep guttural vocals. What more could you fucking want? Noctambulist is one of my favorite death metal albums of this year. Next up is the Fractal Universe, the Impassable Horizon. If you like Opeth, if you like the old school Opeth, you're gonna fucking well love this. This does remind me at times like Opeth, except imagine Opeth more technical and a bit batshit more crazy. This is a great album. Love the cleans on this. Love the sporadic fucking saxophones on this as well. This is a fantastic album. One thing I want you to come out of this is listening to new death metal albums, my favorite death metal albums, and Fractal Universe, the Impassable Horizon is a solid release. A great technical, progressive death metal. Love the solos on this, the crazy saxophones. Fractal Universe, the Impassable Horizon sits here. Next up is Surround, Kill, Devour. It's Cannibal Corpse, Violence Unimagined. This album surprised me, and Cannibal Corpse are back with this album with just a great guitar work on this, amazing guitar, and George Qrixkuor and the vocals are absolutely fucking fantastic. The catchiest fucking death metal songs: Surround, Kill, Devour, Ritual Annihilation, Over Torture, Sermon to the Flayed, and Murderous Rampage just kick off the album. Holy shit. This one to make you go on a killing rampage listening to this album, fucking slicing everyone up into smithereens. This what makes you, feels like you want to just drive on the road and hit every single fucking kangaroo. Amazing album. Cannibal Corpse, Violence Unimagined sits here. Next up is the most weirdest death metal album possibly ever hearing. And this band's amazing, they really are, because they actually created their own instruments for this album, created everything, and we're talking about Nauseam, Imperative Imperceptible Impulse. What can I say? Just amazing album overall. Oh, I love the album cover as well. Just so damn weird. Yeah, this album is everything. It's technical, it's progressive, it's avant-garde. There are just really interesting dissonant melodies. It's like Ulcerate, Imperial Triumphant had a baby. It's Gold Guts inspired. It's Colored Sand. It's Oh my god, it is amazing. It really is. It's amazing. This is an album that you don't really want to listen to over and over again, but you do believe that it does deserve to be in the fucking top 5 death metal albums of the year. And it's amazing. Like, Horror Vacui has really doomy riffs on it, really close to Funeral Doom moments on Horror Vacui, especially the vocals. Human interface to No God with the just spiraling guitar, out of control guitar. The way the melodies just intertwine with each other, how each guitarist is playing different notes in different parts of the song. I think it's just outstanding stuff, this album. It's outstanding. It's a work of art. Yeah, next up is only 2 songs, but the album is amazing. It's Qrixkuor, Poison Palinopsia. Love the album cover. Album cover is one of the best. It really is. The album cover is amazing, and the songwriting is amazing on this. I love just this is progressive prog death. It's just at times just brutal death metal, at times just old school death metal, at times just technical death metal. There are just doomier moments on this. There are just elements of just pizzazz, weird moments as well. 24 minutes each song goes on for. There's only 2 songs on the record, and it's fucking amazing. It really is. It's very hard to explain to you what this album sounds like, because it's a very different death metal album. The songs just go so damn quickly. They really do. That 24 minutes just goes like that, and the introductions on these songs are amazing. Even the odd time signatures. Qrixkuor, Poison Palinopsia sits here. And now we head on to our top 3. Next up is Necroceros. It's Asphyx, Necroceros. What can I say? Fucking love this album. I think it is just amazing. It really is. Just incredible riffs on this. Doomier moments. This is a death doom album, you could say. But I just feel it deserves to be into the death metal, because it's more death metal than death doom in my opinion. Like, it's not like Hooded Menace, where it's just like death doom and it just sounds like death metal, where I could put Hooded Menace, but I'll put Asphyx instead. I feel like that, like, Hooded Menace is corresponded to doom and Asphyx is corresponded to death metal, if you get what I fucking mean. But holy shit, Necroceros, amazing album. Molten Black Earth, Mount Skull, 3 Years of Famine. Oh my god, 3 Years of Famine, an amazing song. It really is. The guitar work, the drumming, the acoustic moments, setting at times like Iron Maiden, just fucking fantastic. Like death metal Iron Maiden, the name is Elite, Yield or Die. Martin Van Burenen's vocals, just sandpaper-like vocals, that's what I like to call it. Feels like he's chewing and swallowing sandpaper while fucking projecting. Oh wow, just an incredible album. Asphyx, Necroceros. Okay, so next up is the most atmospheric death metal album of the year. It's on the borderline of black metal, but after listening to this album countless times, I just feel it's death metal. It's Suffering Hour, the Cyclic Reckoning. This is just an incredible release. It really is. And not to mention, the Foundations of Servitude is one of the best death metal songs of all fucking time. It's the amazing melody that just gets stuck in your head, the amazing guitar work. The guitar tone on this is so damn different, and the way the songs progress are just amazing as well. The vocals are guttural, deep, remind me of Incantation at times. It's the even slow, doomier moments you're getting, even the chugging riffs along with just the galloping drums you get on this album are just outstanding in my opinion. Just a phenomenal masterpiece. Suffering Hour, the Cyclic Reckoning is, and it's easily sitting in my top 2. Okay, so next up is an album that was released last month and I cannot stop playing it. It is drumroll, it's Hypocrisy, Worship. I feel this is the best death metal album of the year. It's the probably fucking catchiest death metal album of the year. It's not technical, you could say. It's not progressive, you could say, but the melodies are there. It's so damn memorable. The guitars are so damn in your face. The vocals on this are just amazing. You got Peter Tudgren on vocals. Hello, Peter Tudgren. Peter is amazing on vocals. I just love everything about this album. The artwork's shit, but the rest of the album is fucking amazing. Songs like You're a Chemical Whore, along with Greedy Bastards, so damn good, along with Children of the Grey, They Will Arrive, Gods of the Underground, Bloodline, holy shit. Worship by Hypocrisy is my #1 death metal album of 2021. So yeah, let me know in the comments below your favorite death metal albums of 2021. Do you agree or disagree with my opinion? Keep discussion going in the comment section below, and I will see you in the next one.